Hello, you are welcome to paper 2 of Cambridge Lower Secondary Checkpoint Mathematics, written in April. This is the second paper as indicated on the script here, and it is also an R. And if you scroll down under the instruction, so calculator is allowed. Okay, so you may use a calculator if you want. So let's jump into the questions. A square has a side length of x centimeter. Okay, so we are asked to find an expression for the area of the square. Give your answer in its simplest form. So you know that the formula for the area of a square is equals to length times length, and in this case the length is x centimeters, so you put x, then multiplied by x, then the area will be x squared centimeter squared. So that is the area of the square. So let's go to the next one. A circle has a radius of 8.7 centimeter. Find the area of the circle. So you already know that the area of a circle is given as pi r squared, and in this case the radius is given as 8.7 centimeter, and you know that the value of pi is 3.14. okay, so that's what we are using here. So if you substitute the values into the formula, the area will be equals to 3.142 multiplied by the radius, which is 8.7 centimeters squared. Okay, so if you take your calculator, find the square of 8.7, okay, then multiply it by 3.14, okay, so it will give you 237.66 recurring decimal, and we can leave our answer to 3 significant figures. That will be 238. So this is 3 significant figures. So that is the area of the circle. Naomi and Samira share some apples. Naomi receives less than half of the apples. Draw a ring around the possible value of the ratio of Naomi's share to Samira's share. So in this case, we are going to have n for Naomi, then ratio s for Samira. Okay, so we want a ratio whereby Naomi's share will be less than half of Samira's share. So in this case, we just have to check each of the given ratios. Okay, this one you have Naomi and Sapphira, Naomi and Samira. So here you have Naomi, Samira, Naomi and Samira. So if you look at the first one here, yes, Naomi is less than half of this. Okay, so this one meets the condition given. So Naomi receives less than half of the apple of Samira's. Okay, so half of Samira is 5 here, is ratio 5, while Naomi is 1. Half of 5 should be 2.5. okay, and Naomi is less than this 2.5, so this meets the criteria. If you check this one, 1:1, they have the same thing, that is 50-50, and here Naomi has more than Samira, so the correct option is the first one here. So let me draw a ring around the answer as required. So this is the answer. Let's go to question number 4. Use the numbers in the box to complete the sentences. Okay, rational numbers and irrational numbers. So rational numbers are numbers that could be written in the form a over b, where b is not equals to 0. Okay, any number that could be written in form of this is a rational number. So 19 over 6 will be here. Then the second one will be 8 squared, because 8 squared is 64, and 64 could be written as 64 over 1 as a fraction. Okay, so the irrational numbers there will be root 19 and the pi here. So that will be the solution to this question. Let's go to the next question, which is question number 5. Here the diagram shows a square drawn on a coordinate grid. So you are asked to draw the image of the square after an enlargement scale factor 3, center 2, 3. So the center of enlargement is given as 2, 3. That is where x equals to 2 and y is equals to 3, and that has been marked on the green as this point x here. Okay, so and the scale factor given here is what? Is 3. So that will be the scale factor here. So the first thing we need to do is to label the shape, the square. So this will be A, this will be B here, this will be C here, and this will be D here. Okay, so that is the first thing. And the next thing we need to do is to count from the center of enlargement to each of the vertices, and we need to take note of the direction. Okay, so if we take note of the direction, all what you need to do is to multiply the steps or the directions by the scale factor 3 in that direction. So if our let's say the scale factor was -3. So when you count from the center of enlargement to each of the points, so you multiply by -3, that means you have to go to opposite direction. But if your scale factor is positive, you count from the center of enlargement to each of the vertices and multiply by 3 and maintain the same direction. So let me do the first one for you. We're going to count from center of enlargement to point A and see the direction. So here you have 1, 2. That means you have 2 up, then 1 to the left. That's for the point A. 1 to the left. So if you multiply by the scale factor, it will be 2 by 3, 1 by 3. So this one will give us 6, while this one will give us 3. That means for the image of point A, which should be A prime, we need to go up 6 times and go to the left 3 times according to the direction, because our scale factor is positive. Okay, so let's count from the center of enlargement 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then let's go to the left 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So it will be here. This is the point for A prime. That's the image of point A. So the same thing, let's count from the center of enlargement to point B. Let's go up. 1, 2. 2 up, then to the right. 1, 2. So that means for point B, you go up 2 times, then you move to the right 2 times. So for the image of point B now, you multiply by scale factor and maintain the same direction. So this will be 2 times 3, 6, and this will be 2 times 3, 6. Okay, so let's go from the center of enlargement and count 6 up and 6 to the right hand side. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then to the right 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the image of point B will be here, and that will be B prime. So the next one is point C. Let's count from the center of enlargement to point C. Okay, so let's go right first. 1, 2. 2 to the right and 1 down. So that means it will be 2 to the right and 1 down. Okay, So if you multiply it by 3, it becomes 6 to the right and 3 down. So from the center of enlargement, let's count 6 to the right. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 3 down. 1, 2, 3. So it will be on the x-axis here where you have 8. So that will be the C prime, the image of point C. Then the last one now will be point D. So if you count from the center of enlargement, 1 downward, 1, then 1 to the left, 1. So that means 1 downward, 1 to the left. So multiply by 3, it becomes 3 downward, and multiply this by 3, you have 3 to the left. So if you count, so that will be 1, 2, 3. That is 3 downward, then 3 to the left, 1, 2, and 3. So the image of point D will be here, and we'll call that D prime. So we need to join the 4 vertices of A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime together, and that will be the enlargement of the given square. So if you join it together, so the red square will be the enlargement of the given square. So let's go to the next question. That will be question number 6. So this is question 6. So if you look at the grid, you see that the frequency of the small size of potato is 6 here. So we can write 6 here. Okay. Then if you look at the medium size, it is 10. If you look at the large, it is 8. And the total is 24. So from this one now, we need to calculate the angles. Okay. And to get the angles, it will be 6 over 24 here, then times 360 degrees. Okay, so this one will give us 90 degrees as given in the question. So you do the next one. 10 out of 24 times 360 degrees. If you do this, you get 150 degrees. And the last one, you do 8 over 24 times 360 degrees, and that will definitely be 120 degrees. So all these angles must add up to 360 degrees. So we can now use this to complete the pie chart we are asked to construct. So this is table of values. Okay, so we need to construct the angles of the medium and the large. The small one has been drawn for us, which is 90 degrees as indicated in this table. So what we need to do is to take our protractor here. So we pick up the protractor. So we set it to 0 degree, and the center of the protractor must be at the middle, at the center of the circle. Then we set this here. Then for the medium, the angle is 150 degrees. So if you count from 0 here, 150 will be here. So 150 degrees will be here. So we can take the protractor now, take a ruler and join them together with the center. So when you put the ruler there, then you can easily draw like this. Okay, so that means here, so let's take away the ruler. So that means what you have here is your angle 150 degrees. So this will be 150 degrees, and is for the medium. So the medium will be here. That's 150 degrees, and the remaining parts will definitely be 120 degrees, and is for the large potato, the large size. This is how to represent it on a pie chart. The diagram shows two parallel lines and two transversals. Then you are asked to draw a ring around all the angles that must be equal to 70 degrees. So if you look at angle A here, yes, angle A will be 70 degrees. Why? Because it is vertically opposite to 70 degrees. So A and 70 degrees are vertically opposite angles, and vertically opposite angles are equal. So A will be 70 degrees. Let's look at B. B cannot be 70 degrees because B and 70 degrees are angles on a straight line and they add up to 180 degrees. Let's go to C. If you look at C very well, C and angle E, they are corresponding angles. So it's C and E that will be equal. It has no connection with 70 degrees. Then let's go to D. So D will also be 70 degrees. Why? Because 70 and D are corresponding angles. So they are inside this letter F. If you trace it up like this, so you can see, so they are both corresponding angles. So I will also draw a ring around letter D here. Okay, if you look at the last one, E, so it has no connection. So it is angles A and D that are equal to 70 degrees. So let's go to the next one. Here we have scatter diagrams for A, B, and C, and we also draw a line to match each scatter diagram to the best description of its correlation. So we are looking into two things here. We are looking into strong or weak and positive or negative. When do we say a correlation will be positive? A correlation will be positive if it goes like this, then it will be positive, and it will be negative if it goes like this. Okay, when the two are increasing, when the two variables are increasing, then it will be positive. When one is increasing and the other is decreasing, okay, then one is increasing, the other is decreasing, then you have a negative correlation. But if it is difficult to tell whether it is increasing or decreasing, then it will be there will be no correlation. That is the first one. The second part is that is it strong or weak? Okay, how would you know if the correlation is a strong one or a weak one? It depends on how close the points are to the line. Let's say you have a line here now. So if the points around it are very close like this, okay, then it will be a strong one. But if they are far away from the what? From the line, then you say they are weak. Now if you look at A here, you see that A is coming down. As one variable is decreasing, the other is increasing. So this one will be something like this. Yeah, I don't want to draw it. Okay, so and you see that if you take the best one there, if you take the best one here like this, okay, if you draw the best one, you see that others are far away. So this will be a weak one and it will be negative. So A will be weak and negative. So we draw it to this here. Then B, if you draw B very well, okay, like this, you can see when you take your best line here, okay, you see that others are very close to it. So it is positive according to this line, and the particles, the other points are very close to that line. So it will be a strong positive one. So B will be a strong one. And for C, here, you see it is difficult to tell whether it is increasing or decreasing. So we can draw a conclusion that diagram C has no correlation. So that will be solution to this question 8. Let's go to question 9. Here, Ahmed has 2 bags, each containing 4 balls. The balls in bag A are numbered 1, 3, 5, and 6, and the balls in bag B are numbered 2, 3, 4, and 6. Ahmed picks a ball at random from each bag. He adds together the numbers on the two balls to get a total score. Show that the probability of the total score is equal to the probability of the total score is more than 8. So you may use the table to help you. So I think the first thing we need to do here is to complete the addition here. So here we are going to have 2 add 1, 2 add 2 add 1, 2 add 3, 2 add 5, 2 add 6, and you do the same for all the numbers. So I'm going to have 2 add 1, 3 here. Okay, so here we'll have 5, 7, and 8. If you come down here, you're going to have 4, 6, 8, and 9. If you come down here, we are going to have 5, 7, 9, and 10. And the last row, we are going to get 7, 9, 11, and 12. Okay, so if you check the total now, that is the total, your sample will be this, everything you have in this region. Okay, so let's count. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So that means the total is equals to 16. Now probability is equals to 1 over all. Okay, so for this first one, what is the probability that the total score is even? So here we want the sum total score that is even, okay, over all. So let's count the even ones there. Even, you have this one is even 8, we have 6 is even, we have which one again, we have 12 is even. So which other one? Okay, we have another one here, the given 8 is even. Okay, so which other one is even? We have 4 here, 4 is even, and the last one we have 10 here is even. So we have 6 of them to be even numbers. So that means our want is 6, and the total is what? Is 16 here. You have 16 here. So you can reduce this. 2 goes in 16, 2 goes in 6, that's 3. 2 goes in 16, you have 8. So you have 3 out of 8. Okay, let's do for the second one. So the probability that the total score is more than 8, more than 8, so because to numbers that are more than 8 over total. The total is already 16. I can put it here. Now let's count the number of numbers that are more than 8. Okay, let's look for the numbers that are more than 8, So more than 8, I have the first one here. So let me use this now. I have 9. Another one again, I have 9 here. I have another one here, that is 9 here. I have another one here, that is 10. So I have another one here, that is 11. I have another one here, that is 12. So if you count the rectangles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we also have 6 out of 16, and that will be 3 out of 8. Okay, you can see that they are equal. So it is true that the probability of total score is even is equal to the probability that the total score is more than 8. So they are equal. So let's go to the next question. Angle A, interior angle of an equilateral triangle. B. Interior angle of a regular pentagon. C. Exterior angle of a regular pentagon. D. Exterior angle of a regular hexagon. So draw a ring around the two angles that add up to 180 degrees. So if you have a regular pentagon like this, okay, so the interior angle and the exterior angle will add up to 180 degrees. So in this case, angles B and C will add up to 180 degrees. So next, let's go to 10b. Find the sum of interior angles of a seven-sided polygon. So for a polygon, the sum of interior angles, is given as n minus 2 into 180 degrees. Okay, so where n is the number of sides, and here we have 7 sides here, n is equals to 7. So if you substitute, you have 7 minus 2 into 180 degrees. That will be 5 into 180 degrees. So you can easily take your calculator and multiply this, and you are going to get 900 degrees. So you have 900 degrees here. So the sum of the interior angles of a seven-sided polygon will be a 900 degrees. Okay, so it will be 900 degrees. Let's go to question 11a. A number x rounded to the nearest 100 is 1500. Complete the inequality to show the possible values of x. So this question has to do with bounds. So we are asked to find the lower and the upper bounds. Since the number is rounded to the nearest 100, then let's divide 100 by 2. So if you divide 100 by 2, you will get 50. So to get the lower bound here, so that means you have to take away 50 from 1500. Okay, and that will give us 1450. So that means you're going to have 1450 here, and to get the upper bound here, you are going to add 50 to 1500, and that will be 1550. So that will be the inequality for the value of x. So the next one is question 11b. The time taken to run a race is 9.87 seconds. Correct to 3 significant figures. Write down the upper limit of the time. So here, 3 significant figures falls at the 100th place value, which is 0.01, and we need to divide this by 2. If you divide it by 2, that gives 0.005. You can use your calculator since it is allowed. Then to get the upper limit for this now, that means we are going to add 0.005. We add it to 9.87. So 9.87 plus 0.005. If you add it together, that will give you 9.875. So this will be the upper limit for the time, 9.875 seconds. Okay, so let's go to the next question. This is our question 12a. Okay, Yuri wants to investigate how exercise changes his heart rate. He considers 2 methods for measuring his heart rate. Okay, method A is that he finds his heart rate by placing 2 fingers on his wrist and counting the beat. The method B is the method B is by finding his heart rate using a digital heart rate monitor. Yuri decides to use method A. Give one reason why this method not be the better method. Okay, so you can say he may miss the counting. So you can write here that he may miscount, that miss the what? The counting. Or you could say the interval may not be constant. Okay, so the rate at which he counts may differ. Okay, so that is another option. So let's go to 12b. Yuri also wants to compare his results with those for other people his age. He decides to repeat his experiment on 40 members of a gym. Explain why his sampling method may not give him reliable data about the heart rate of other people his age. So here, one of the reasons could be is experimenting with too many people. Okay, so he may get tired easily and the counting will not be okay. So he is experimenting with too many people. So that is what will give you, okay, is experimenting with too many people. So that is one of the likely answers you could give. Okay, let's go to 13a, and also you could say the type of people is experimenting with. Okay, so that could also affect. Okay, so but I will recommend this first. Okay, so 13a, Hassan thinks of a number and he multiplies it by 4. His answer is greater than -8 and less than or equal to 20. A. Write the correct inequality signs to complete the inequality. Okay, the interpretation is this. Hassan thinks of a number, he has n. So when he multiplies it by 4, the number becomes 4n. Now, this 4n is greater than -8. That means 4n is greater than -8. So another way of writing this is to say -8 is less than 4n. This is the first one. So -8 is less than 4n. Then and less than or equal to 20. That means 20 is less than or equal to 20. So this will be the second inequality. So let's go to the next one. That will be question 13b. In question 13a, we got -8 is less than 4n and 4n is less than or equals to 20. Okay, so here we can solve the first part here. -8 less than 4n. Let's divide both sides by 4. 4 will cancel 4 here. We are left with n. Then less than here. Then 4 here 1. 4 here 2. So you have -2 is less than n. So you can call this one 1. That's our first solution. The second solution will be 4n less than or equals to 20. So we need to divide both sides by 4. 4 cancel 4, you have n here, less than or equals to 4 here once, 4 here 5 times, so you have 5 here. This our, we have 5 here. So this is our second answer. So we can combine the two together by writing -2 is less than n and n is less than or equals to 5. So that will be the solution to that question in inequality in terms of n. So the next one is to go to question 14. In September, a coat costs $62.5. In October, the cost of the coat increases by 4% of the cost in September. In November, the cost of the coat increases by a further 14.6% of the cost in October. Find the cost of the coat after both increases. So here, this is September. In September, So that is at 100%. The cost price is $62.50. So in October, for October, so there is increase by 4%. That means from 100% it increases to 104%. That's 104 over 100 times the cost price in September. That is $62.50. So if you take your calculator, multiply 62.5 by 104 and divide by 100, and your answer will be $65. So calculator is allowed. Then in November, the cost of the coat increases by a further 14.6%. So that will be that is going to be 114.6%. Okay, so that will be the percentage. So 114.6 over 100 times the cost in October. So the cost in October is $65. Okay, if you take your calculator again, multiply 65 by 114.6 and divide by 100, and the answer you're going to get there is $74.49. So that's what you are going to get as your answer here. So the cost of the coat after both increases will be $74.49, and in this case you can write it, you can approximate it to 3 significant figures, and that will be $74.5. That will be the value. Okay, so let's go to question 15 now. So here you have to find the equation of the graph. Give your answer in the form y equals to mx plus c. So the general equation of any equation of a straight line will be y is equals to mx plus c. So where m is equals to the gradient and is always is either rise over run or fall over run. Okay, and c is the intercept on the y-axis, and from this diagram here, from this graph, you have it to be 6. So that means the value of c, which is the intercept on y-axis, is 6. Okay, now next we need to find the gradient. Okay, let's start from the intercept on y-axis, that is from 6. Then let's go down how many times. So we need to mark this point and this point, okay, just to confirm. So from this, if you go down 1, 2 times, then you run forward once. That is 2 over 1. Let me confirm this. From this place again, from this place, let me go down 2 times. 1, 2, then you move forward once. Okay, you still have the same point. That means it's correct. Okay, that means it's correct. So the gradient is 2 over 1. You come down 2 times and you run forward once, and that is the same thing as 2. Okay, so we can now substitute the values of m and c into this equation, and that will be our final answer. So y equals to m is 2x plus c, 6. So this will be the equation of that graph. So this will be the equation of this graph. So question 16a now. The first term of a sequence is minus 0.7. The term to term rule of the sequence is multiply by minus 1 and then add 0.5. Show that the sum of the first 4 terms of the sequence is 1. So in this case, we need to get the first 4 terms. Okay, so the first one is giving us minus 0. The first one is giving us minus 0.7. That's the first term. Now the second term will be minus 0.7 times minus 1. That will be positive 0.7. Then add 0.5. So that will be 1.2. That will be the second term. So the next term will be minus 1.2 times minus 1, then add 0.5. So that one will give us negative 0.7. Okay, the fourth one will be minus 0.7. So the next one will be minus 0.7 times minus 1, then plus 0.5. If you use a calculator, that will also give you 1.2. Okay, so we have the first four terms now. If you add this to this, to this, and to this, so the answer will be equals to 1. So that means we have shown that the sum of the first four terms of the sequence is 1. So if we take the next four, since it is a sequence, that means if we take the next four terms, that is the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they must also add up to 1, because we keep on having this. Okay, that's the sequence. So these four terms keep on showing up. Okay, so that means for every four terms, they always add up to 1. Let's go to 16b. That will be useful in 16b. So we are asked to complete the following statement. The sum of the first 12 terms of this sequence is dash. The sum of the first 400 terms of this sequence is also dash. So don't forget that our sequence is minus 0.7, minus 0.7, we have 1.2, we have minus 0.7, then we have 1.2. This is for the first four. So the next four will also be the same thing. The next four will also be the same sequence. Okay, so this will always make up the next four terms. Okay, so now if we want to get the sum of the first 12 terms now, that means how many group of 4 we're going to see in 12. That will be 12 divided by 4. So we're going to see this group times 1. Okay, so that will be 3. So that means the sum of the first 12 terms of the sequence is 3. Okay, because the first 4 will be 1, the next 4 will be 1, the next 4 will be 1. So the next thing here is that we have to find the sum of the first 400 terms. So you see the same pattern. We have 400 divided by 4 times 1, and that will also be 100. So the next one is question 17. This is question 17. The map shows the position of a shop S and a library L on an island. The scale of the map is 1 centimeter to 50 meters as given here. Okay, so the question is this: a restaurant R is built on the island on a bearing of 130 degrees from the shop and 220 meters from the library. So we have two conditions here: is on a bearing of 130 degrees from the shop and 220 meters from the library. So let's start. 220 meters, so will be on the scale will be what? It will be 220 meters, so divided by 50 meters. Okay, so this will give us, if you take the calculator and punch this, it will give you 4.4 centimeters. So that means the 220 meters in real life will be 4.4 centimeters on the map. So next we take a pair of compasses and measure 4.4 centimeters on a ruler. Put the center at L and locate the position of 4.4. So this is my ruler and this is a pair of compasses. So let me set it very well and measure out 4.4. Okay, so if you do this, this is about 4.4 here. Okay, then center at the L, because the location of the restaurant is 4.4 centimeters from the library. So that's why the center is at the library now. So let me draw an arc here to see where the position will be. Now, I haven't done this now. I have done the second criterion. Okay, so I'm done with the second condition. So the first condition is on a bearing of 130 degrees from the shop S. So we take a protractor and place the protractor on point X. The center of the protractor will be on point X. So let's rotate this like this to be 0 degree. So we take it, the center of the protractor should be on point X like this, and then the line will be at 0. So we want to measure 130 degrees. So if you measure it here like this, 130 will be about around here. So let me make a point here. So 130 degrees will be around there. So I'll need to take my ruler and a pencil and draw the 2 points together. So we place the ruler here and we draw a line to join the shop S and this point together. Okay, so that's what we do. So where the straight line and the arc meet is the location of the restaurant R. So the center here, the point of intersection here, okay, where the two intersect here, okay, so that will be the location of the restaurant R. So it is on a bearing of 130 degrees and it is 4.4 centimeters away from this point L. So let's go to question 18a. We are given the graph of 2y equals to 11 minus 8x is shown on this grid. Okay, so it has been drawn for us, and the next question here is that we are asked to draw the graph of 2x minus 5y equals to 10 on the grid. Use the table of values to help you. Okay, so to do this is very simple. Now let's see, this is the given equation, 2x minus 5y equals to 10. So when x equals to 0, what will be the value of y? So 2 into 0 minus 5y equals to 10. 2 times 0 will give us 0. Okay, so that means this will be eliminated. Then to get the value of y, you divide both sides by negative 5. Okay, you divide both sides by negative 5 so that y will be equals to minus 2. So that means when x equals to 0, y is equals to negative 2. So the same thing, we need to find the value of x when y is equals to 0. So let me get more space here. So here you have 2x minus 5 into y, 5 into 0, that's the value of y equals to 0, equals to 10. So this will also go, as 5 times 0 is nothing. So we have 2x equals to 10. So we can easily divide both sides by 2. 2 cancel 2 here, x equals to 5. That will be value of x here. Okay, now let's plot these values on the grid. When x equals to 0, y is equals to negative 2. So it will be down here. Okay, the second one, when x equals to 5, the value of y equals to 0, it will be here. Okay, so we need to join the 2 points together, and that will be the graph of 2x minus 5y equals to 10. So this graph here will be the graph of 2x minus 5y equals to 10. So that will be the graph of that line. So let's go to the B part of this question. So the B part, we also use the graph to solve the simultaneous equations, and the solution will be where the two lines meet. Okay, we'll trace it to x and y respectively. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So the first one, 2y equals to 11 minus 8x. So this is for 2y is equals to 11 minus 8x, and the second one is for 2x minus 5y equals to 10. So they meet at this point here. Okay, this is the point they meet. Okay, so we're going to get the x and the y value. So if you trace it down, you see that the value of x is 1.9, very close to 2. Okay, and also if you trace it to the y value like this from that point, okay, you see that you have minus 1.2 as the y value, minus 1.2. So this will be the solution to the two simultaneous equations. So let's go to question number 19. The cross section of a prism is a regular polygon. The prism has exactly 6 planes of symmetry. Draw a ring around the shape of the cross section. Okay, so it will be around it is hexagonal prism. That is the regular polygon. It is hexagonal prism. So that's when you have 6 planes of symmetry. That's pretty simple. Number 20, the volume of the water inside the jug, okay, which is a cylinder, okay, will be the same as the volume of a cylinder. So the volume of a cylinder is giving us this base area, the circled base, okay, times the height. So the base is the area of a circle, which is pi r squared, times the height, which is h. Okay, so from here we are given that the diameter is 14 centimeters, so the radius will be half of it, which is 7 centimeters. The height of the water is 31 centimeters. So we cannot get the volume by substituting the values. You know that pi is equal to 3.14. So if you substitute the values into the equation here, we will get 3.14 times 7 squared times 31 centimeters. So you can take your calculator and press this. It will give you your answer. So this will give 4,769.66 centimeter cube. So this will be the volume of water inside the jug. Okay, so if you want to fill it up by a glass which can take 315 centimeter cube of water at once, so just have to divide this by 315 centimeter cube. Of course, centimeter cube will cancel out. So if you divide that, take your calculator, divide it by 315. Okay, so that will give you 15.14. okay, so that means it can completely fill 15 glasses. It can completely fill 15 glasses. Okay, so that is the answer. So the answer will be 15 glasses. So next is question 21. Here are some of the inputs and outputs of a function. So the input here, you have x, and the output is 5x squared. So from this, it seems that the function will be input squared multiplied by 5. So this will be the function. Okay, it will be the input squared multiplied by 5. So for the second one, it will also be, when it is a, you are going to have a squared multiplied by 5, and that must give us 180. Okay, so a is an integer. Find the two possible values of the output when the input is what? Is a plus 1. So when the input is, find the two possible values of the output when the input is a plus 1. So the secret of the solution is here, where you have a squared times 5 equals to 180. So what we need to do now, we need to find the product of 5 and a number that gives 180. So in this case, it will be 36 times 5 is equals to 180. That is the product of two numbers. That will be a number and 5. That will give us 180. Okay, whose product is 180. Okay, so now, so a squared is 36. Okay, so that means a will be equals to 6. Okay, positive 6 or negative 6. So that means the value of a could either be positive 6 or negative 6. Okay, because the product, the square of the two numbers will give us 36. If the input is now a plus 1, okay, we have two options. It will be a plus 1. In this case, it will be 6 plus 1. That will be 7. Okay, so that will be 7. So when the input is a plus 1, that is, the input is 7. So let's say we're going to have 7 squared times 5. So this will be 49 times 5. So the first possible output will be the product of 49 and 5. So the answer is 245. So that is the first possible output. So the second possible output will be when a plus 1 is equals to minus 6 plus 1, and that will be minus 5. Okay, so that will be minus 5. So let's see, the input is now minus 5. It will be minus 5 squared times 5. In this case, minus 5 squared will be 25 times 5. That is 125. Okay, so these are the two possible outputs when the input is a plus 1. The first one is 125 and the second output is 245. So let's go to the next question. That is 22. Okay, so we are given this diagram. ABCD is a rectangle. ABCD is a rectangle measuring 4 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. Okay, so what we need to do is that, okay, this place will be a 90 degrees. It will be 90 degrees. This place will also be 90 degrees. So this place too will also be 90 degrees, and here to 90 degrees. So that means we can make use of Pythagoras theorem here and here. Okay, so we have to find DE. So to get DE, it will be from this triangle AED. That is where we are going to get our DE. But we must know AE. That is the first thing we need to do to get if we want to find DE. So to get DE, already we know that from A to B here, we already know that it is what? 10.5. So that is 10.5 centimeters. Okay, so and we know that from E here to B here, we can get it from this triangle, and we take it away from 10.5 centimeter. That will give us our AE. So the first thing we need to do is to find side EB. So let me sketch the triangle here. So this is the right angle here. We have E here, we have B here, and we have F here. So EB is what we want to get, and we know BF is 1.6, and then we know EF is 6.5. okay, so using Pythagoras theorem, so it's simple. We can say EB squared is equals to 6.5 squared minus 1.6 squared. Okay, so this will give us 42.25 minus 2.56. Then if you subtract that, you get 39.69 using your calculator. Then if you now take the square root of this, take square root of this now, so that will give you the value of your EB, and that will be 6.3 centimeters. So that is the value of EB. Now we can find DE. So it's possible to find DE now. So if EB is equals to 6.3 centimeters, okay, that means we can find AE by what? By subtracting 6.3 centimeters from 10.5 centimeters. So that means AE will be 4.2. So this place will be 4.2. If you subtract 6.3 from 10.5, okay, that will give us 4.2. So now we can now use this diagram again. So let me create space here. I want to draw triangle AED. Okay, so triangle AED like this. Okay, so here we have A here. This is the angle 90. We have E here. So this is D here. So we have 4 centimeters here, and we have 4.2 centimeters here. So we want to get DE. So let me write this. So this is DE. So to get DE, you can use Pythagoras theorem again. So just say DE. Sorry. So you can say DE squared equals to 4 squared plus 4.2 squared. So it will be equals to 16 plus 17.64. Okay, if you add these two together, that will give us 33.64, 33.64. Okay, so if you take square root of this, that will give us the value of our DE. To give us the value of DE, and that will be 5.8. Okay, so that means the DE will be equals to 5.8 centimeters. So let's go to the last question. And so A and B are positive integers. A over B is equals to 0.37, correct to two significant figures. B is a cube number less than 200. Find a possible pair of values for A and B. Okay, so let's start with the statement. With this statement, B is a cube number less than 200. So the cube numbers less than 200 will be 8, 27, 64, and 125. So the next cube number will be 216, which is greater than 200. Okay, so that means the value of our B is any of these 4 numbers. That's the value of our B. So we need to get the value of A. So how can we do that? Let's say we have A over B equals to 0.37 now. Okay, so let's try. When B is equals to 8, let's see what we're going to get. So if B is equals to 8, that means you have A over 8 equals to 0.37. So if you cross multiply, the value of A will be equals to 0.37 times 8, and that will be equals to 2.96. okay, 2.96. So let's see, since the value of a must be an integer, okay, let's divide 2 by 8. So we need to make use of our calculator to confirm this. Okay, if you take your calculator and do 2 divided by 8, that will give you 0.25. so there's no way you are going to approximate 0.25 to get 0.37 to 3 significant figures. It's impossible. So that means our b can never be 8, okay, and then our a can never be 2. So let's say we try to make it 3. Let a to be 3. So if a is equals to 3, take your calculator again, divide 3 by 8, you get 0.375. So that is, if you do a is equals to 3 and then b is equals to 8, if you do this, the answer will be 0.375. so if you round this to 2 significant figures, the answer will be approximately 0.38. okay, and we should get 0.37 after rounding to 2 significant figures. So that means a cannot be 2, a cannot be 3, and b cannot be 8. okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so that will be 27. Let's see if it's going to give us our answer. Okay, so if you have a over b equals to 0.37 and want to take the value of b to be 27, then it's equals to 0.37. if you cross multiply, so a will be 0.37 multiplied by 27, and if you take your calculator and press that, so that will give you 9.99. you will get 9.99. okay, so now let's confirm this. So let's check if a, so we can take a to be equals to 9 or a to be equals to 10 and check it with the value of b, which is 27. So let's see if it's going to give us 0.37 when rounded to 2 significant figures. So let's do the first one. So the first one will be when a is 9, so we'll do 9 divided by 27. So take your calculator, 9 divided by 27, that will be 0.333 recurring decimal number. Sorry, to be 0.333 recurring decimal number. So if you round this to 2 significant figures, it will give us 0.33, and we want to get 0.37. That means the value of a cannot be 9. So let's take the value of a to be 10 for the second possibility. Okay, to be 10 divided by the value of b remains 27. So if you do take your calculator and do 10 divided by 27, so that will give us 0.370 and so on and so forth. Okay, so now if you round this to 2 significant figures, so it will give us 0.37. okay, so that means a possible pair of values for a and b will be when a is equals to 10 and b is equals to 27. So this will be the end of the solution to paper 2 of lower secondary checkpoint written in April 2020.